And for this one, I want to be talking about culture shocks I've experienced as a Ugandan visiting and living in Nairobi. Now, this is the full month. This is my first month in Nairobi, Kenya. And you guys, it has been a lot, believe it or not. And when I say so, a lot of people don't take it as it is. But the absolute truth, like, it has been a lot of culture shocks. I arrived here on the 10th of August 2025. Today it's 8th. 7th, 8th, so it's almost a month. And I wouldn't do all these culture shocks in one video. That's why I've been sharing them over and over again. But also, if this is the first time you're watching me, please don't hesitate. Subscribe, like, comment, share out with friends and family. My name is Tanya. I'm a Ugandan content creator currently in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm very excited that I'm actually here. So, I have actually written down the things I want to discuss with you guys. There are quite a number of them, but the good thing it's alive. So I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to break them down very well without a lot of interruption. Yeah, the first thing I want to talk about it is Ugali. So let's talk about Ugali, guys, because I just feel like in the last video, especially the culture shocks, I've talked about Ugali, but I haven't talked about the process of actually cooking Ugali, how different it is here in Nairobi, Kenya, and how different it is back in Uganda. Now, in Uganda, the way how we prepare ugali, it's completely different. Here in Kenya, people just mingle that ugali like for 20 minutes and they are done. No, in Uganda, we don't do that. Actually, when you bring a typical Muganda man and you mingle that posho, that ugali in 10-20 minutes, they'll say they have that claim they usually say. They usually say that it is still not ready. Yeah, it is still not ready. So in Kenya, that's how they do it. They mingle the ugali. Yeah, they mingle the ugali like in 10-15 minutes. And then they serve the ugali. Back in Kampala, Uganda, it's not how it is. Yes, in Kampala, Uganda, when you are going to be mingling your ugali, you mingle, for example, if you are to have lunch at around 1 p.m. and dinner around 8 p.m. in the night, this ugali, all of it is prepared early in the morning. There is no prepare what you are going to eat. No, we prepare everything at the same time. It's also another culture shock. Here, you guys, whenever you're going to be eating, that's when you prepare food. I've realized that. For example, where I first lived with Gabriel and also where I am right now in Kiambu, each meal you're going to be eating, it's what you prepare. But back in Uganda, we prepare once. For example, we prepare 2 meals at once. We measure if it is 1 kilogram of ugali for 3-4 people, all of it will be cooked early in the morning. If it is 2 kilogram of posho for all people, it will be cooked at once, not preparing for every after meal. So in Uganda, what we usually do, we get this ugali. We first of all boil water. Yeah, you have to first of all boil water very well. After boiling the water and it has actually steamed, then you bring in the ugali. We usually measure it using cups. Yes, plastic cups, nice cups. We call them tampeko in Uganda. So you get the tampeko. Know that, for example, at home we are 5 people. 5 people, each one of us. How much is going to how? What are their eating habits? For example, Tanya usually eats very low. People at my home even know that I'm a very light eater, especially if I'm going to my parents' house. My girlfriend too knows, but people I live with know, and I'm trying to reflect the same thing. You come to know the habits of people you live with, and that is the amount of food you will measure. Tanya will eat maybe 100 grams of ugali during the day, and dinner it will be also 100 or 200. So after boiling the water, we shall do the same measurement for all people. It is not hard as I explain it to be. It is not really hard. It is that at the back of the mind, you know that Tanya will eat this portion. So that's what you'll be putting on. Maybe the dad of the home will be eating this portion for lunch and dinner, or for only dinner. In case he's going to be around for only dinner. The mom of the house, the siblings, and all that. So after boiling the water, we get in this water first into the saucepan. Then we add in little by little ugali as we mingle, as we mingle, as we mingle, like that, as you mingle, like that. We do that, not for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, like how you guys here have seen it being done, but continuously, like at least maybe between 30 to 45 minutes while mingling that ugali until when it has changed color, slight brown color. Yeah, not even white, but slight brown color. Then after we have been able to make sure that it is that slight brown color, we use banana leaves. Yeah, you use banana leaves and banana stem to line very well the saucepan. Put in the banana leaves, then bring that ugali, put it in that banana leaves. Here I've realized that as soon as you guys mingle the ugali, you serve it off. We don't do that back in Uganda. As soon as you finish mingling the ugali, it is not yet ready again. Yeah? You have to put it in banana leaves, bring it together very well in the banana leaves, make your fire, make put it on fire to boil in those banana leaves with a little bit of water down. Now it is like steaming, steaming the ugali without water entering into the ugali, but the ugali is already mingled, if that makes sense. So that is the typical Ugandan ugali preparation. Here it was a shocker for me. It was literally a shocker for me. Yes, it was really, really a shocker for me, because as soon as you guys mingle the ugali, da 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 da, you serve the ugali off. We don't do that in Uganda. We don't. You mingle the ugali, mingle it very well. After mingling it very well, between 30 to 45 minutes, make sure that there isn't even any, we call them pulunguse, those white parts of maize flour. Make sure that there isn't any of those. After making sure, and actually has changed the color a little bit, then you can now put it in the banana leaves, then put it on fire to steam. Yes, in case you serve these Ugandans, especially a Muganda man, Ugali has just seen you mingle there, they'll have questions for you. But I understand it is just a culture kind of thing. Also, I realized that Ugali here, unga, here, it is quite expensive back in Uganda. But that I've been explained to very well, that you guys here, the food is not as much like back in Uganda. In Uganda, it is so common to find someone whose backyard already like planted over, I don't know, maybe 100 plants of maize, and when the season comes, they will take it to the machine where they grind maize from, and they will get unga. Here I realized that it is not the same thing. Here food is quite expensive. A kilogram of posho back in Uganda, it's around let me see, 600, 120, 1200, about 2500 Ugandan shillings. That is a kilogram of unga in Uganda, 2500 Ugandan shillings. That is about, I think, what, it's not even up to 100 bob. It's not even up to 100 bob. Maybe between 75, maybe 75 bob, something of a sort. Now 2 kilograms you can get it for maybe 120 bob, because in Uganda food is so much. That's why even the president of Uganda most of the time says that in Uganda you can survive even without money, without money mandate to the whole year, because food is really so much, and people give out food so much. It is so rare to find a family in Uganda when they don't have a garden in their village. It is really so rare. So that's the first thing I really wanted to talk about. It is the way how you guys prepare ugali here. It is completely different. Then also I haven't actually been able to distinguish very well. I realized that you guys, you're okay. Maybe I've had two types of ugali. There is one I've had and I feel like it is somehow grainy, like there is a little bit of grains in it. But there is also one I've had and it is literally just clear, like clear branded maize, clear branded maize. Yeah, so that is the first thing I really wanted to talk about. I have my book here. Guys, when you come into the live stream, please like the video. It really does help. It really does help a lot and a lot and a lot. Yeah. Then also right now I'm in Kiambu County. I really wanted to start with this about ugali because it is something that has been over Kiambu County. I'm visiting with a friend. It's amazing back here in Kiambu. Life here, it is quite chill. People are just quite chill. Everything is quite chill. But the first culture shock I did get in Kiambu is that people here don't speak Swahili. Yeah? I was coming in around Kiambu, moving around. People don't speak Swahili as often. Maybe you can hear kids, maybe kids a little bit, but people here don't speak Swahili. There is another language they speak. I think it's their kind of language. Completely culture shock, because now remember that I've been in Nairobi. All this is my 4th week here. I'm making a month next week, early next week, a month in Nairobi. And I've been basically in the city center in Nairobi, and there Kiswahili is the order of the day. The order of the day. Mind you, by the way, guys, I see 6 people in the chat. Please like the video. Please do like the video. Please do like the video. But I was still saying that in the city center where I've been all this time in Nairobi, I've been learning Swahili, a little bit of Swahili, Ningapi, like the 50 bob, the 66 bob. I've learned a couple of those. Now, Rick in Kiambu County, people here don't even, I think they know, but there is that their language. It is called, a friend told me it is called Kikuyu. Yeah, a friend told me it is called Kikuyu. It's another language that is spoken here. Yes, it's another language spoken in this side of Nairobi. It is called Kikuyu. Yeah, it is. They don't speak so much Swahili, especially when you come to Kiambu city, because I'm actually around the Kiambu county where people here. Someone has said most probably Kikuyu. Yeah, it is Kikuyu. People here, they don't speak Swahili. Mind you, do you see this book, guys? I have tried to learn Swahili. This book. I have tried to learn Swahili. Gabriel has his kids, two of them. So they have been teaching me Swahili a lot and a lot. So before I go to bed every night, I tend to get out my book and read through my Swahili. Now, it is the same thing when I came to this side of Kiambu. I had planned my Swahili very well. Ningapi, sasa, poa. There are a few sentences. For example, mimi nilikuwa, such things. Mama, people here they speak Kikuyu. Yeah, that is the language. I'll try to learn a few phrases in Kikuyu before I go back to Nairobi, because I'll be going back to Nairobi to the city center probably a week after trying to sort out a few things. But yeah, I'll try to learn a few words in Kikuyu. Yeah, but people this side, they speak Kikuyu. They don't speak Swahili as often. Actually, today I was out. I was taking a walk. I took a walk around the area I'm in, and I didn't even hear any Swahili word at all. Maybe someone just saying sasa, or maybe someone just saying poa, and the rest of the conversation is not in Swahili. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about when it comes to Kiambu, it is quite cold here compared to where I was in Nairobi. Kiambu, it's quite cold. And also, gardening. Guys, I've not been to a place in Kenya. Okay, while coming into Nairobi via the Busia border, Nakuru, Naivasha, Rift Valley, all those areas, I did realize that there's a little bit of farming. But you guys, not until you come to Kiambu County that you realize that people farm. Here, people farm. You went. Someone is saying you went interior Kiambu. Maybe I don't know, but maybe I'm in interior Kiambu. I really don't know. But where I am, I can tell you it's a few distance from. It's a couple of distance from Rwanda. Yeah, it's a couple of distance from, not a couple of distance, Rwanda neighborhood, Rwanda affluent neighborhood. It is not far from where I am here. And also, it is called Evelyn Estate. It is not so far from where I am. So, people here farm. People here have gardens. I've seen sugar canes. Let me even just take down this and I tell you. The shocker of the day was seeing coffee. Coffee, like a very big shamba. Someone has a very big garden. Like, it just reminded me of Uganda. You know, in Uganda, when you go to our villages, for example, where my father was born, it is almost near the central part of the country, near Kampala, but it is called Mukono. If there is a Ugandan here, they will know. It is called Mukono. It is just near to Kampala. And all those subdivisions, they emphasize people to grow coffee, and basically coffee, especially by the Kingdom of Buganda. Now, guys, when I looked at this guy's garden, the guy had a lot of coffee. Yeah? I just thought that I was somewhere in my father's village. The guy had a lot of coffee. It had flowered very well. It had coffee beans. They are still green. They are not yet ready. But guys, the shock of my life. And I was like, are we still in near Nairobi, or we are deep somewhere? After seeing the coffee, then I saw sugar cane. Sugar cane. Sugar cane, and not even just 2-3 sugar canes. The guy has a very big area where they did plant sugar cane. A very big area with sugar cane. Then matoke also very many this side. Maybe because someone has explained to me that people who live basically this side, they don't sell their land. Someone explained that to me, because you guys, I love asking questions. So I randomly fall into people and ask them questions. So this guy explained to me, I told me, oh, Tanya, you know what? People on this side, they don't sell their land. They would rather lease their land, but use their land for agriculture and farming talking about agriculture and farming, there is also a bit. I've seen piggery. I've seen cattle. I've seen sheep. And the sheep I'm talking about, not one, two. Like someone, their back kind of house, apartment or house, or the bungalow house, they have sheep, very, very many sheep. Yeah, not one, not two, but more than that. And they also have goat. So that has been really also a shocker for me, especially in Kiambu. It's quite cold, but the farm is farming. Yeah, people here, they don't take for granted things of farming. Then also, matoke, I think I talked about matoke. Matoke plants are very many this side. Matoke plants are very many, very many, very many. I tell you, I started seeing matoke, I think, from, is it Karura Forest? Kiambu Road. Around there, that's when I started seeing matoke. And also coming this side, it is, okay, I was seeing a little bit of matoke the other side I was, especially when it comes to people who sell like vegetables and all that. But this side, like bunches of matoke where they are selling vegetables and all that. They have bunches, zidiao. Then also I realized that people this side, I don't know if it is because of the person who has hosted me here in Kiambu, but they, they are not so big on ugali. Yeah, he told me that for him and his family, they cook almost everything. So I've seen Irish potatoes. They have prepared Irish potatoes. They have prepared rice. They have prepared sweet potatoes, arrowroot yam. And I was like, yeah, these people. So I think it's a matter of culture or cultural values or things of a sort that for, especially people living this side, they are more into those foods. Yeah. So the other thing it's about, guys, especially when it comes to Kiambu, where I am right now, it is the tukutukus. Tukutukus this side are quite many. The last time I saw very many tukutukus, I think it was in Isili. That is where BBS Mall is. But in Kiambu, I've seen very many tukutukus, especially from the point when where you are entering into Kiambu city. From that area moving forward, all this side, tukutukus are quite a number of them compared to where I was in the Nairobi city metropolitan area. So this side, tukutukus are very many. Then the other thing I want to talk about, especially in Kiambu, I haven't left Kiambu, it is the apartments. Guys, apartments this side. Let me even first put down my book. Guys, apartments this side, they look to be good. I don't know why. Maybe because it is infatuation, because I'm seeing I'm in the area for the first time. But apartments this side, they look to be good. And I've also, because you guys know that I ask questions, I've asked questions, and the rent here is somehow high compared to some estates in Nairobi. So I was asking Tiongo, and he told me the reason why it is like that is that this area, mostly there are very many rich people. Yeah, that Kiambu has the biggest number of rich people in Kenya. So that's why the rent is so high, and they look at making sure that they build high good. Hmm? They look at establishing good quality buildings. So, but he told me again that a house that you can find in Kiambu, which is 15,000 Kenyan shillings, it can get you, for example, if it's a single room, the same amount can get you another good house somewhere, which is actually double room or 3 rooms. Yeah, he told me this side it is quite expensive because of that it has quite a number of rich people. I haven't explored very much the neighborhood, but I've also come to learn that people this side, um, their rent is high. Their rent is high, and also they have very many rich people. Yeah. So apartments, they look very good. Yeah, I've seen very many good apartments and high-raised buildings. But for a place such as Kiambu, that some of the land has farms and it has very good-looking buildings. It was a shocker to me. Like these guys, tomorrow or in 2 days, I'll be uploading a video of the video I did walking around Kiambu. You guys are going to be shocked. You might think that I'm in some other estate in Nairobi because the buildings are beautiful. They are colored beautifully. The color, the roads they are demarcated very well. You can think you're actually in a high-end neighborhood. Though friends have told me already that this side there is Runda, there is Daiga, and a couple of other good neighborhoods. But for apartments, yeah, Kiambu really have it. They have some good, nice looking apartments, though quite expensive. I don't know if I would settle, if I decide to settle in Nairobi, if I would settle in Nairobi, in Kiambu. I would love to because of the food options and the gardening I've seen here. But maybe one thing it could be rent. I might not be the target market. Someone is saying Kiambu County is big and diverse. It really depends where you are. If you are Thika Road, you'll find how cost. Oh, oh, maybe I'm actually along Thika Road. Sim, I haven't grasped the area very well. I haven't grasped the area very well. But again, they have told me that Kiambu is very big. They have told me that Kiambu is very big. And based on the amount of time I'm going to be here, I don't think I'll be able to finish the whole of it. Then also, a friend who's hosting me is also traveling out of the country. So I might have to leave Kiambu before I do a little bit more of exploring. So maybe for that, but they have told me that it is pretty big. Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about, guys, when it comes to culture shocks, it is water. Now this one is Geno. You guys in Nairobi, Kenya, you buy water. Like people buy these jerry cans of water. They are like 60, 70 bob. Back in Uganda, it is not there, I kid you not. And I'm not lying to you. It is so rare to find a family that they are buying drinking water. In Uganda, what we do after water is treated, after we get water from the tap, by the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, our national water in Uganda, it is called UNESCO, something of a sort, even I'm forgetting. But when you get water from the tap, piped water from the tap, it is basically treated with chlorine. So most of the time they say it's good to drink, but you guys know that we are Africans, even in Uganda. You know that we are Africans, so we go on to boil it, or maybe one extra time. But also people drink that water from the tap. But this side, I've seen the businesses, people here buy water, and it's a big business. Even in Kiambu here, I've seen water shops where people go to buy water. Even here in Kiambu, I've seen it's a big business. You go there with an empty can, they fill it for you, you give them money, and that is drinking water. But also, before I left the other side of Nairobi, Gabriel was explaining to me that there are some estates with piped water, which is safe to drink, but not all of them. Then also, I want to pass out this, but I'm passing it out kindly because I know it might sound quite somehow offensive, but it is from a very good side, or from a very good heart. The first time I came to Nairobi, and actually the second time, I did realize that some people had small stains on their teeth. I didn't know what was the cause. So someone told me that it is the water. So also maybe that people actually here tend to go out to buy that water. Because I asked and someone told me that that stain on the teeth, most of the time it is caused by water, especially in some areas. So when I asked and I got to know that, then I came up and I knew that, you know what, it is the water. That comes from the tap that usually stains the teeth, and that's why they tend to buy out this drinking water in those big gallons of water. Yeah. Drinking water, I've talked about it. Let me talk about sidewalks in Nairobi, Kenya. The road authorities, both the local road authority, the city road authority. Can you hear? I'm turning out to be Kenyan. The local road authority, the rural road authority, the urban road authority, and the highway road authority. All that information, Gabriel, big up. You taught me this. They make it a point that whenever they establish a good road, they put on a sidewalk. Ugandans, people who work in Uganda roads, you should be watching this video. Shame upon you for us suffering on those roads in Uganda, in Kampala without sidewalks. In Nairobi, Kenya, like when they establish, not all of them, obviously. I don't want to sound off very shady, but not all of them, obviously. But most of the roads, especially in all neighborhoods, not all neighborhoods, but some good neighborhoods and the city center, they have a designated area where pedestrians walk. Yes. Panange Ugandan Road Authority. Banange, watch this video basebo ne banyabo. Establish for us those things, they save lives. In Uganda, you walk past the road, people end up getting issues. I'm not saying here it is not there, but here I've seen people walk a distance away from the road, and that is how it should be. So for me, it was a really, really very big culture shock. Mind you, I've been now to a couple of good, lavish neighborhoods. I've been to Karen, I've been to Lavington, I've been to what else? What else? I've been to New Mdaiga, I've been to Kitusuru. Kitusuru was nice. It didn't have though sidewalks. It had some parts, but not all parts, and it was very foresty. I didn't like Kitusuru, regardless of the fact that that's where Old Money lives. Some of it had, some of it didn't have. But the other ones, the prior ones I've just talked about, most of them had side walks where pedestrians walk. Then also a designated area where bikers, people with motorbikes, they do drive from. Banange, talking about motorbikes, Nairobians, be careful with motorbikes. My phone was almost snatched. I don't know if you guys watched that video. My phone was almost snatched in Upper Hill. We were there with Gabriel making a video. Amyaye. In Uganda, we call them Amyaye. Tried to snatch my phone. So be careful. But also on those sidewalks, there is a demarcated area specifically for those people who have motorbikes. Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about, guys, it is apartment living. In Nairobi, Kenya, I have realized that very many people live in apartments, which is completely a different case back in Uganda. Very many people have dreams of establishing up apartments here. And it is looked at as a very, very big, big investment. Last week, I got an opportunity. I was with Gabriel and I got an opportunity to visit 88 building, the Nairobi's icon. Nairobi's icon. I think it's better to call it Nairobi's icon. I got an opportunity to visit the 88. I got an opportunity to enter. Mind you, to enter. That is how beautiful Lord has made his way in. I was with Gabriel, big up Gabriel. So I got an opportunity to enter into 88 and meet the marketing director, Eric. And he took us up to the showrooms. I've seen it all in Kenya. To up in the showrooms. But what I'm trying to say or trying to depict is that here, having an apartment or buying a condominium or buying or building an apartment, it is looked at as something really, really very big. And a lot of people in Nairobi, Kenya live in apartments. Very many, like the biggest number of people. And the reason why I'm saying so is that, for example, in Utawala, for example, in even where I am right now in Kiambu, long apartments on Thika Road, most of them, like residents on Thika Road, most of these people stay in apartments. There is a mass immigration of people from villages to Nairobi city center and they're opting out to live in those apartments. So I've realized that Nairobians, basically, it is all about apartment living. And they have courts. So a court, for my Ugandans watching this or who will be watching this in the future, a court is like a gate that leads to a number of apartments in there. Yeah, that is a court. Usually, it is a gate that leads to very many buildings. Usually, there are very many apartments. There are very many houses in one court. I'm seeing 11 people in the building. Please don't forget to like the live stream. It will really help to push it a little bit further. But yeah, that is a court. Then also, I want to just give you a little bit of comparison from where I come from back at home. So back at home in Uganda, instead of apartments, it is just coming up. I think we are copying it from Kenyans. But instead of apartments in Uganda, land. Land, you win. With land, you win. For example, if I'm having 1,000,000 Kenyan shillings right now, or maybe 2-3 million Kenyan shillings right now, and I tell my dad, my mom, because there are people most of the time you have to consult with African parents. You have to consult with before you buy, that piece of land. The first thing they will tell you, Tanya, land, how many hectares? 200 hectares. Let's go buy that. It is not all about building apartments. It's not all about building houses. It's all about land, buying land and making sure that you are buying land in the right names and titles. Because for us in Uganda, we look at land as a very, very huge investment that with time, it actually regenerates money. I'll give you an example. My cousin, she lives in South Africa and she's actually almost retiring. But in 2011, 2012, 2011, she came back to Uganda. She went to Uganda and she bought land at 44 million Kenyan shillings. Oh, Bosco is in the building. Gabriel is in the building. Yeah, Gabriel is in the building. Gabriel is in the building. So I was saying that my cousin goes back to Uganda. He buys land worth 40 million Ugandan shillings. This is 2011. She buys land 44 million Ugandan shillings. I want to put it in the calculator because I know I'm with a Kenyan audience. So 44 million Ugandan shillings. You guys might say, hey, that is a lot of land. So that is 1,466,000 Kenyan shillings. So she buys that land in 2011. Then in 2011, she be in Uganda a little bit. Then she flies back to South Africa. South Africa. Then she's there, she's there, she's there. She gets a very, very big, because she's a business lady. So she gets a very, very big disorganization in her business. So she flies back to Uganda. Guys, from 2011, she sold that land in 2016, and that land had multiplied times two. Times two. So times two, that is 2,933,000 Kenyan shillings. So that's why back in Uganda, we look at land really as a very, very, very big thing. And I'm realizing back in Kenya here, can a Kenya buy? Oh, okay. Someone is asking, can a Kenya buy land in Uganda? I'm going to answer that. But I'm going to answer that same. But what I'm going to say is that back in Uganda, we look at land as something very, very important. I'll say this. I don't know if my parents or my siblings are on live, but my parents, not my parents. Okay, let me leave it. That one will will be something extra. But just know, land in Uganda, it is something else. It is really something else because that thing multiplies. You can buy 1 million land worth 1 million, which is about 40,000 Kenyan shillings. And I tell you, in 1 year, there is an investor in Uganda wants to take that land for 5 million Ugandan shillings, which is about what? It has already multiplied. You put into the calculator. So coming to Sim is asking, can a Kenyan buy land in Uganda? Now, the price of buying land in Uganda, I think personally it is not that hard, but we have like two types of lands in Uganda. There is what we call my land, and before even I go to that, we have very many Kenyans in Uganda, like Kenyan investors. Like Kenyans living there, very many there, but we also have very many Kenyan investors, especially in Tororo. That is like the start of the western part of the country. Then we also have some good Kenyan investors in the central part of the country, especially on Kabaka land. Now, I've explained that. So there is like two types of land in Uganda. There is what is called my land. Now you pay in Uganda we call them obsuru. Obsuru means that they give you a period of lease. Yeah, I think it is lease. So on the land of the king, which is called my land, you can't buy and own it for your family. But what you can do, you buy, they lease you maybe 100 years. I think 100 is the highest that you can get, 100 years, and maybe every after a year there is a small fee, like 250 bob you have to pay into the kingdom that you are using the land. That is because the kingdom of Buganda has very, very much land that they can be able to do that. Now, how you get onto that list as a Kenyan, I think you have to come in as an investor. That's what I think. Or if not so, you have to marry a Ugandan or enter into a collaboration partnership with a Ugandan, then you can be able to attain that. That is one route of attaining land in Uganda. The second route, it is buying land like without lease. You can buy land without lease because there is non-leased land, which is personally owned by families and clans. Families and clans, I mean that in Uganda, for example, I come from the Calabash Monkey clan, and it means that we have orders. If you did study Buganda, things of a sort, you really know they are orders. So each clan, with their order, they have a specific land, which they own as theirs. So there is also that land that you can buy. But also for that, I think there should be some things that you have to first sort. Either you have a Ugandan woman, or you are into a partnership, a business partnership, maybe with Chirumira. Chirumira is my surname, my Buganda name. Maybe you are in that particular nature of partnership or things of a sort. But you have done it. I've told you, we have very many Kenyan investors in Tororo. Very many, that they have invested in farming. They have invested in ugali, like packing and making ugali, in making juices, and they are employing a couple of Ugandans, not even a couple, but a big number of Ugandans back in Uganda. Yeah, I think I've explained that, guys, very well. That was apartment living. It is very common here in Nairobi, Kenya. I really talked about ugali. Oh, someone is taking a look. Yeah, look for a Ugandan. Even me here, I'm looking for a Kenyan spouse because I'm not leaving Kenya. I'm lying, immigration officers. I'll be leaving, but I want to stay here legally. But I want to stay here legally. But most people I'm talking to, they tell me marry a Kenyan wife. I'm kidding. I kid you not. I think I'll marry a Kenyan wife. That's what I think, because I think it's the easiest route to go. But maybe not marrying a person who, process by process. My girlfriend might be even watching this video. Sorry, babes. But nevertheless, yeah, that is one route that you can use. But I'm also looking out for a route that I can use to be able to settle here, because I like it here. I love it here. People here are very, very considerate, loving, and kind. Mind you, I moved from Nairobi to Kiambu, but guys, people in Kiambu are very welcoming. I haven't had any issue with almost anyone. They are just like, oh, you are Ugandan. Oh, welcome. Oh, you're Ugandan. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. I like that for them, and I like that for myself too. The other thing, guys, it's all about the dress code in Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah, dress code in Nairobi, Kenya. Someone was telling me that one simple way to find out that someone is not from Nairobi, Kenya, is that they will not have a sweater. And I kid you not. Nail on the head. That is the absolute truth. One simple way to know that someone is not from here, moving around without a sweater. Yeah, and that was me in May when I came here, and I got we went to hospital with Nef and Hezir. And Nef and Hezir, my American friends, I met them online, like how I've met a lot of you guys. Then we established a relationship, and they flew back and forth from Uganda, and we had a good interaction. We moved to Kenya, Qatar, where. But nevertheless, what I'm trying to say is this. We had Nef and Hezir to Aga University Hospital. That is in May, when I first flew in here to Nairobi, Kenya. So, guys, we went there very early in the morning. Mind you, I didn't know that weather very well. While landing at JKI, at the airport and the plane, they say that it is quite cold and this, but sometimes you're very excited. You don't have even the time to know what are they even talking about. But now, the next morning that Nef gets an attack, we move out of the house without jackets. We go to Aga Khan University Hospital. But it is quite chilly and cold. We just move on. Guys, by around 11, there was a cloud. Then I was like, now this sounds to be a little bit cold. By around 12, I was freezing. And I'm that kind of man who does it most of the time who doesn't want to really show that it is burning. I'm not well most of the time. I would rather swallow my ego. But nevertheless, I was cold. By around 12, I was really very, very cold. Then I moved out, and I saw that almost everyone had a jacket. But people who didn't have jackets, they are people who were also not from Nairobi, Kenya. Those are people who are not Kenyans. And now I realize it, plus myself too. A couple of weeks ago, while we were working with Gabriel, like left, right, and center, creating content here, there, and there, I used to move with my jacket. Like, automatically, it just comes in your mind that, you know what, I'm moving out, I'm supposed to go with a jacket. Or it is shining, because Nairobi weather, it is not food. Anytime it can change. It is not food, anytime it can change. So it is also another thing that I really wanted to touch on, that here, people, dress code, sweater. Always you have your sweaters. Yeah, and it's completely different in Uganda. Mind you, when you go to Uganda right now, I've been following a lot of Kenyan content creators who are living in Kenya. Guys, let me tell you this and be frank with you. As in Kenya, as a Ugandan, there are Kenyans in Uganda who also enjoy Uganda, and they are looking for ways on how to stay in Uganda. This life, no balance. This life, no balance. I've seen these girls, they are Kenyans, they are in Uganda. They are looking for all ways to stay in Uganda. All ways to stay in Uganda. As you see me here, like this, like I'm really struggling. I want to find a route. Education. What? What? How can I get permanent residency here? How can I stay here legally? There are also Kenyans in Uganda looking for the same route. Can you believe it? This life, no balance. It's two girls who are right now in Uganda. I've been following them for now some good time, and yeah, they really love it there. But my point was, in Uganda, it is so rare. I usually don't move with my jacket. Very, very even unheard of. Because if it is to shine, it shines all the way throughout. And when it shines all the way throughout, you don't even expect any cold. And though it rains, as soon as the cold comes down, papa, down like this, the sun sets off. So that is the beauty of Uganda. But in Kenya, things bichuka mukonyo a little bit. Yeah. Then the next thing I want to talk about, guys, and this is also one thing that I'm actually surprised of. It is that in Nairobi, Kenya, you guys can show and display affection. You guys display affection. In Uganda, it is not common, like holding someone's hand. In Uganda, it is not there. It is literally unheard of. In Uganda, we don't show affection whatsoever. We don't hug around, like hugging people around. No. Actually, we look at it as a level of respect because in Uganda, first of all, we are not supposed even to look into the elder's eye just like this. You are not supposed to. Now, hugging them, you see how different it is. In Kenya, here, you guys show affection, like you hold people's hands. I've seen girls and boys, couples in CBD, like hugging and kissing, and I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? In the land of Museveni, you do that? People will be pointing at you fingers. People don't do that back in Uganda. It's a culture shock, And I'm not saying it is bad, but it's just culture. I think that Kenya has been very much infiltrated with Western kind of culture compared to Uganda. Yeah. And I've seen people kissing in CBD and they're in corners in the evening. I've seen people hugging, holding each other, walking down the street. I've seen people showing emotions even on social media, like TikTok. Since I came to Nairobi, I got a Kenyan line. I got a Kenyan line, the Airtel line, and I used it to open up a TikTok account. And all the content they recommend to me is Kenyan. But you can see how people can display their emotions. Mama, people cry on social media. People cry, especially TikTokers. In Uganda, it is so rare. Someone comes and display that they are going through sad moments and they are crying and no, 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 no. Actually, there is a saying in Uganda which says kava and pola ngoli mukisengecho. Cry very little, and when you have closed your door, because each person have their own issues. But I've seen girls on here and boys actually crying and showing affection and showing how displaced they are. I'm not saying it is bad, but I think it's a cultural kind of difference. I've seen people holding hands, and I've seen people express their emotions. People express their emotions. Like recently, you guys, I know all of you here, you have seen what has been happening in CBD. So I was supposed to come to Kiambu yesterday, and actually I came. But a couple of days ago, because of the insecurity, I was like, what the hell? So I got to CBD to take a matatu or transportation to Kiambu, and but I was watching all these videos and all these girls and boys expressing and talking about issues, and I'm like, what the hell? In case this comes to Uganda, I'm saying will be like, what the hell, you people, But regardless, it is a culture difference. Here, people show emotions. Here, people are very courageous, talk about things that are going on, quite different back in Uganda. Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about it is traffic. You guys have some good traffic. I love matatu culture. I was talking to my friend Ronnie. He's also a friend I met online here, and he actually is more right now. He's in Mombasa. Probably when he travels back before I leave for Uganda, I get a chance to meet him. But he was telling me that matatus are amazing, but in traffic jam, that's when you know that they are not amazing. Yeah. Was it Ronnie? Was it someone else? But it was someone else who also, because I've made a lot of friends online, but someone else. I don't think it was Ronnie. It was someone else. But they are telling me that matatus are very nice until when you are in that matatu and all of you are sweating, you don't have air, and that bus is not moving. And I witnessed it not once, not twice. Hmm. Remember that I have these cynatic issues with my sinuses. So I can't live in an area that it is deprived of oxygen. An area that it has low levels of oxygen, it just shoots my sinuses off and I start sneezing and I start feeling orbital headache, things of a sort. So traffic in Nairobi, it is bad. So I've decided if I'm to live in Nairobi, I'll have a timetable. Hey, I have a timetable. I know areas, times that are not so trafficious, those are the times I move. Very early in the morning, the traffic is high. Towards, not from morning, the traffic is low. You can travel. Very late in the evening, the traffic is high. Just before that in the evenings, the traffic is low. I would rather move that time than moving in those congested hours because I've seen. Then also, you guys never open your windows. I don't know why. You guys, while in the matatu, you don't open your windows. People have issues. These people have issues because now I was looking at the other time I was in a matatu. Guys, I'm complaining in a good way. Eh. Oh, you told me to try. I'll try it. I'll try. I'm still here. Sim. Kaka. Sim. Yeah? How is it said in Swahili? Pole pole. I'm going to try that bus. You told me and I recorded it somewhere. You see this book? It has all things you guys have been telling me. Because I'm a writer, I usually note down things. So I'm coming on that train. Because I've seen it also around well the last time I was moving to Utawala, from Utawala, I saw it. But the point is, what I was trying to cut across is that the traffic in Nairobi is really intense, and people never open windows. People, guys, have issues. People have issues in those cars. At least open a little bit. But last time I was like, my God, I was almost losing it. I don't want to show that I'm losing it. I'm almost not breathing. The traffic is much. No window is open. I was like, Anang. But you have to be polite with people because again, you are in other people's country. You don't have to bring your in some other people's country. So you would rather be there and be cool, but people should try to open just a little bit because at the end of the day, this is just normal science. Oxygen. Eh? Oh, someone see me is telling me that phone will be stolen with open windows. But some of these matatus are high. Some of these matatus are up there. You open a little bit, just a little bit. Now, just imagine your Tanya has cynatic issues. One of these days I've not been even moving with my inhaler, the salbutamol and all that, with salbutamol and a little bit of hydrocortisone. I don't have that. I was there just not having it. It happened like 2-3 times, but it taught me something. It really taught me something to know that such instances happen, and you have to try your best that you come first into the vehicle so that you can get a window seat. Because if you don't get a window seat, and especially if you have issues I have, you might end up not things working out. But nevertheless, those windows, they are high, they are Bambi. Bambi means please in Uganda. Just a little bit. I'm not saying you open it wide, but just a little bit. It's just general science. Because sometimes we are in that bus over 20 people. The amount of oxygen we are consuming, it means that we are taking in carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Most of the time you don't know the effect from the start. I'm a nurse by profession, but you can't realize the effect from the start. But with time, it kills our aloe vera cells. Aloe vera cells in the lungs. I'm butchering something. There are cells in the lungs which are responsible for exchange of gases. So in case you are in that area and people have consumed all the oxygen, we end up even taking back carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Hey, Kenyans, Bambi, know that just a little bit so that oxygen can circulate, especially in traffic hours. It is not good, especially in traffic hours. People are losing it, but people will not say. And mind you, such as myself, being a Ugandan, it is one thing I have always talked about. Ugandans growing up, we are deprived of a value called it is called what? Ability to talk and stand up for yourself. In Kenya here, it is different. It is courage. In Uganda, growing up, we are deprived of courage. It is just of the recent years that people have actually been, getting to their toes and they are courageous to talk about issues. But in Kenya, you guys, you are grown up with the ability to speak your minds. In Uganda, it is not like that because of the cultural values. In Buganda Kingdom, to be specific, you courage is not there. Courage for what? In case you are a kid, you are a kid, and nothing you can do about that, and you have to die with it. And people grow up in that culture. So you find me in that bus, I'm not breathing, I'll just go out because I'll not maybe have the capability to tell you, my brother, my sister, open the window a little bit. I'm having issues of this and this sort. But also at the end, Kenyans and Ugandans, we are all human beings. The same condition you guys will get with time of consuming carbon dioxide and oxygen in such environment is the same effect I'll get, and it will deprive of years, more years of living. Yeah, so I hope that has reached home because I've emphasized it a lot. Next thing I want to talk about, guys, is tipping culture. In Kenya, you don't have tipping culture. You guys don't have tipping culture. In Uganda, I cannot say that the tipping culture is so much there, but comparing it to here there is no tipping culture. Like you go buy something and add in an extra fee to that something to the person. I've not seen it, to be frank with you guys. Like, I've not seen it except if I'm doing it. But I've not seen it, for example, if you are walking in the market, maybe walking around with Gabriel, maybe hearing it, maybe in supermarkets. It is not there. But in Uganda, the tipping culture, it is something that has grown over time. I think it is slightly older than what it is here in Kenya. You guys don't tip your people. You don't tip waiters, you don't tip transporters, you don't tip food deliverers, you don't tip these guys who are selling vegetables. That tipping culture here, it is completely different from Uganda. In Uganda, the tipping culture is kawa. Kawa means sawa sawa. I used to work as a nurse, and I used to work in dispensary. When I graduated nursing school, I first worked in a Kampala dispensary. It is like in the city center, one of the biggest we have, and we dispense HIV drugs and ciprofloxacin and Septrin and all that. He's saying even bargaining and Septrin and metronidazole. You guys call it fragile here. You guys, people used to do what? To tip me, and those tips used to transfer me from Entebbe to Kampala to work on a daily basis. Then, when the good Lord decided that I enter into KCCA, Kampala City Council Authority, where I was working before I quit to come to Nairobi, men used to tip me. For me, I will not say that it is not there. The tipping culture in Uganda, like you go to work, mind you, I'm paid by the government. I'm paid by my salary by the government, but you work on like 10 men because I'm a VMMC nurse. I circumcise men. But you work on 10 men. Each of those 10 men tip you 10,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, 10,000 Ugandan shillings, it's about 300 bob. Now, 300 times 10, that is 3,000 Kenyan shillings. So before even my salary comes, every day, expect that I was getting that particular tip in safe male circumcision. And that is not only in medicine. In other sectors also, when you go to the supermarket, when you go to buy things at the grocery store, you see these people who are carrying things for you, you tip them. When you go to the market and you are buying matoke, what? You tip those people. Even 200, even 400. I remember when I was having this haircut, I usually have my head, someone has commented that there is no tipping culture because the prices are always twice and more of the required price. Why tip someone already makes 100%? Maybe that, maybe that. It may be one of that. But what I was saying is that I went to shave my head. This is also another thing. I talked about this. In Uganda, men never grow hair. In Kenya, I've seen men with beautiful braids, beautiful twists. It's a culture shock. It's not competition. No, I'm saying it in bad faith, but it's a culture shock. Men in Uganda, we cut bald heads. We don't grow hair. So I went to a salon. I was along Utawala, I think. I went to a salon to have my hair cut. So I reached there, introduced myself, told the guy what I wanted, and I didn't know Swahili, obviously, to communicate very well that I want the whole of this hair to be off. So I was pointing at my forehead that this should be here, This should be here. So he did a beautiful job, just a beautiful job, and he told me that the haircut was 200 bob, was 200 bob. So that is about 6,000 Ugandan shillings. But because of the tipping culture back at home, I had to add, I had 40 other Kenyan shillings, 20, yeah, 40 other Kenyan shillings. Because after shaving my head, I moved to another chair where there was a lady who also just washed my head, a bald head. Also here, you guys, they pamper you. In Uganda, no one is going to take time to wash your head after shaving your hair. Who has that time? After they shave your head, you go home, you clean yourself from home. Maybe from the current kind of salons in Bugolobi, all those high-end neighborhoods. But the salons we grew up from, there's no that pampering. After shaving your head, go home. So after I gave them the 200, but again, I had to add 40 bob because of the tipping culture we are used to back at home in Uganda. Guys, the guy was happy. Guys, how I wish you saw his face. The guy was very, very happy. And I was like, no, it is something normal because I know you are here, you are supposed to eat. And I've also back in Uganda while I was still working in VMMC, working with men used to tip me, so why not tip only 40 Kenyan shillings? 40 Kenyan shillings is like 1,000 Ugandan shillings. It's something very small, but it spoke volume in one way or another. Then, talking to the topic, someone said that most of the time the prices are double. That might be true. Yeah, that might be true. I don't know how true it is because I haven't been here for so long. But what I'm pretty sure of is that that might be a little bit true. Yeah. So that was about the tipping culture. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is the communication style. In Nairobi, Kenya, people are very direct. Eh? Yeah, you guys are very direct. You don't cover up big words. You don't cover up big conversations. In Uganda, we say, in case you are going to be talking about marital stuff, bed stuff, things that are done by people who are married in the bedroom, you don't just say how it is. But you guys here call a spoon and a spade a spade. In Uganda, it is completely different. We cover up things. So mind me hearing all these conversations on TikTok, conversations we are having maybe with a couple of friends I've been with in Kenya, and they are calling a spoon and a spade and a spade. I'm like, what the hell? These people never cover up even words. No, 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 no. In Uganda, it is completely different. And nekakutanda, out of the blue, you say such words when your elders are around. You'll explain to them why you are not covering up words. You really do explain to them why you are not covering up words. But it is just a difference. Here, people are very direct and they'll make you know how they feel immediately. Not all of them, but the majority I've seen, especially a few people I've interacted with, a few kids I've interacted with. Kids grew up when they are courageous to speak their minds. For example, they'll come and tell you if this is this. Oh, I want you to help me with this. I want you to give me this. I want you to give me this. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I like that because back in Uganda, we don't have that. People here are quite direct. They'll come to you directly with what you have to offer to them. Yeah. And I found it also quite a culture shock, especially as a Ugandan traveling here. Yeah. Then also I want to talk about personal space because why not talk about personal space? So I realized that you guys here, you are more of a community, family kind of round, if that makes sense. You live in each other's, eh? Like you want to feel someone's presence by you being in their space. It is such a good thing because you build connection with these people. Back in Uganda, it is completely different. Completely different. It is so rare to just find someone who really just wants to hang around you, be by you, have meaningful conversations with you, be around you. Back in Uganda, in Nairobi, Kenya, I've realized that it is completely different. You people, you love being in that family cocoon kind of section. Yeah. For example, if I'm your friend, you would rather come sit near me, talk to me when you are touching me, talk to me when you are directing me, be near me. In Uganda, it is not like that. Not in a bad way, but it is not completely like that. It is completely different. People in Uganda are very reserved, and I've talked about this for as long as I can't remember. Ugandans are very reserved. They are very, very laid back. They would rather be in their own cocoons than be with everyone. And when you say Ugandan, like me being with, Kenyans, you just know that something is up, because you guys are just welcoming, and you want to talk to someone when you feel them, when you see them, you want to eat with them. In Uganda, the culture is, in Uganda you have to eat with people and all that, but people would rather go sit, somewhere, eat. Here it is completely different. People eat together. Then also when it comes to food, you serve yourself. In Uganda, a person who has cooked, mostly the matriarch, mom, basically that, your mom is supposed to do what? To distribute the food. Then also in Uganda, men don't cook. I'm not saying they don't totally cook, but men in Uganda, we are not taught to cook, not in a bad way. We learn to cook maybe in school and in universities and all that. But the matriarch figure, our sisters, our sisters and mothers and aunties, they are basically people who cook. But I've seen actually people here, all of them, they cook and they share the responsibility of cooking as equally. If the man is around, will cook. If the woman is around, will cook. I've seen places where um, even fathers, dads cook. So it is quite different. I don't know the last time I ate a meal my dad prepared. That guy, I've never seen him cook anything in my entire life. Maybe the one thing he has cooked for me, I can't remember, to be realistic with you. So, and myself too, when I'm back in Uganda, it is so rare to cook. I used to cook when I was in nursing school because you have to learn by the situation. But when I started working full time and I have my person who comes to cook for me and all that, but when they are not around, I never cook. But I realize here, cooking, it is a shared kind of. When the mom is around, we'll cook. Dad, friend, whoever is around will cook. And food, you have to distribute yourself. In Uganda, we don't do that. I came from which point? I think I came from the point of personal space. Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, it is safety and security before I end off today's live stream. So, this topic, I have double minds on it. Yeah, I have double minds on it. And I don't want you guys to take me in a very, very bad way. But when it comes to security in Nairobi, I have double minds on it. And you have to understand me because I'm a foreigner here. Mind you, what has been moving around, in CBD, along Kimathi, Street, along Moi Avenue. Like, I've been terrified, and I don't know how to explain it, but it has been just reducing my morale a little bit about Kenya. I don't want to lose the morale because I love the country, I love the culture here. I've made friends and family. Like, there are people I know right now, even that I just show up to their door. They'll just open for me even without giving them 100 bob. That is how much family I've made in Nairobi. But things that have been going around of people moving with knives, and people moving with human feces, and man, it scared me a little bit. It scared me a little bit. I had to rethink my options with my person about removing here and all that. It has been a lot. For a couple of days ago, while all that was happening, we have actually been having a conversation, a very big conversation about that. But I know that whatever will happen usually happens. Nairobi, as any other city, it has its own flaws. It's not 100%. That for sure I know. And I was talking to my big sis. She traveled here, to July, August, start of August, June, July. She's traveled here in July. She was here in Nairobi, then she flew to Mombasa back to Uganda. And I was speaking to her, and she was like, because she has lived in a couple of countries for her, and she was like, you know what, Tanya? All these countries, regardless of where you are, there will always be a flaw. Because right now in Uganda, we look at Uganda, personally, I look at Uganda being the safest, comparing to how much insecurity I've felt, especially from the social media I did see, and the guy who tried to snatch my phone, and the couple of cases I've seen. I just feel like Uganda is safer, according to me. And I'm not talking this in a bad way, according to me, because I'm not from here, and maybe I'm familiar with the security the other side, because the other side, our constitution allows military to work with police to control, and that is why we have very, very low crime rates compared to, I don't know, here you guys, your constitution doesn't allow military, but in Uganda, military, even right now at night, it's what? It's around what? It's about 10. But in Uganda right now, there are military officers on duty to protect Ugandans and their property. So that is how, I don't know, but it's just a feeling. But all that has been happening. For security, I just felt a little bit bad. I don't know how to feel about it. The first time I traveled here, I felt very, very safe. But right now, I move even scared for my phone. I fear border borders a lot. It has left PTSD in my mind. I fear border borders. I fear people walking behind me because of what happened and what has been on social media. So that is the only part that I'm really, really, really double thinking when it comes to security and yeah, of this country. But to be realistic with you guys, the rest of the things are kawa. Then the other thing, guys, I ended up getting an M-Pesa number. Yeah, I got an M-Pesa number. It has not been working till yesterday. Yeah, till yesterday, till today. Today I went out because the last couple of days I tried to do it. I tried to go to them, ask them. While I was still in Tawala, they told me that I had to go back to the main center. Didn't have time, but when I came this side, I found a center where actually I would fix that. And the good thing, they got it fixed for me. So right now I have that number. Hopefully I'll leave it on screen so that you guys, in case you want to send me something, that would be amazing. So that before I travel back to Uganda, hey, you guys, I can make more content. In case you support me, my M-Pesa number, I'm going to read it out. Yeah, I think it's better I read it out. It is 2561128938885. I think I'll just write it on screen because I think it is much better. But finally, I did get that line. A lot of you guys wanted me to get the line, but I didn't know very well where to start and all that. But the good thing, Gabriel escorted me to the city where they usually get those lines from. I just showed in my passport and I was able to get that M-Pesa line. So I'm going to just post it there so that you guys, in case you are interested, please go ahead and support me, because when you support me, then it means that I can be able to bring you more content. So it is 256 11 28 93 88 and 5. Yeah, just posted it there. In case you guys want to support me, just go on and support me. Yeah, 254, not 256. 254. Sim just saw that. So it is 254. That is my M-Pesa number. I hope it is the one. It brings my biological Ugandan names. Chirumira. Chirumira comes from Nge clan. Our responsibility in the kingdom of Buganda is to we are the doctors of the king of Buganda. So every clan in Buganda kingdom, we have a responsibility. So I'll just put here my name. In case you don't see that name, it means that number is wrong. But that is my name on my passport. I just posted it to there. Yeah, I think, guys, I've been able to explore everything I really wanted to explore. I want to thank you very much for watching the video. I'll try to do more lives moving forward. I'm not more of a live person, but I'll try to do my more lives moving forward. Today we have had very many people in the live stream. That's amazing. So yeah, let me meet you in my next one. I hope I've exploited everything. I don't see any question that you guys sent in later on, but in case you have any other question, I can answer it before I leave. But I think we have been live almost now for 1.5 hours. That is a long time. But in case you have any question, leave them here before I can. Oh, someone said we tip police officers. Simi is saying that we tip police officers. Yeah, thank you very much for tipping police officers. Even while I was traveling from Busia to Nairobi, I did see that every other police officer we reached, this should be in slow motion. Every other police officer we did reach, these guys used to tip them. So, yeah. What else did I miss out? I think I've answered most of these. I'll try the Embakasi train. I'll try my best that I try the Embakasi train when I go back to Nairobi. Yeah, I think I've been able to exploit everything, guys. Yeah, let me meet in my next one. I'm seeing 13 people. I'm ending the live stream. I'll come back maybe tomorrow or the other day, but I'm ending the live stream. Thank you very much for watching. Until